My name is Riley. I have other names, and people definitely call me other things, but I like Riley and don't answer to anything else. Not unless I'm in trouble, which is frequent. This was why the nuns, who tolerated me just fine through my energetic years, could not tolerate me in my lazy years, and sent me away to a state secondary school. There, my grades, and the grace of God, got me into college, and then Sexton University, down on England's south coast. Since I got here, I've saved the world, murdered a handful of people, and committed a genocide. The Battle of Minden led to 2 out of the 3, so it's a good place to start. The Minden is a towny pub, about 2 miles from the dorms. Sometimes the bouncers let students in, sometimes not. Tonight the knot had led to the famous battle and the loss of Ollie's left shoe in a brave rear guard fleeing. In truth, expecting Ollie to return home from any night out with both her shoes is unrealistic. She's so flat-footed she makes walking in heels look like a ballet performed by hippos. If a foot landed in the right spot, you'd know it owed more to the size of the feet than the intent. It's also likely that it was her clip-clopping across town that was responsible for Holly's foul mood when we arrived at the Minden. Although Holly is always a bit prickly. I'll go with prickly. Returning sans shoe, as the French say, we decided to replenish our losses using our university educations. It is common knowledge that Professor Lovecraft has the biggest collection of women's clothing, and, as he rarely changes his own clothes, we decided to relieve him of a pair of shoes, in order to repair Ollie's wobbling lip to a more stiffly English state. Being in a military mood, we made a new battle plan, the first part of which was to gain entry through the boys' toilets, which, on account of the stench generated inside, has the one window which is never closed. As we prepared our entry, Holly climbed on Ollie. Holly remarked that it was the first time she'd used a uni bathroom without having to queue. She boosted herself through while we waited our turn, Ollie entering via a pull from above and my push from beneath. I followed, entering into a sulphur-fumed hellhole that would have turned Dante's quill into a chicken drumstick. Worse still, we had to sit and wait in that stink, while Ollie used the paper towels to dry her foot and hair. This accomplished, we explored deeper into the empty university. It was kind of eerie in the long, dark corridors. The only sound in the whole place was Ollie's slopping as we walked, and the increasingly regular sighs of annoyance from Holly. Luckily, we all knew the way to Lovecraft's office. I'd been there several times, begging for extensions to deadlines and extra credits, while Ollie is the strange sort of student who goes to tutorials. Holly likely had apologies to make. We had nothing to fear from campus security. The university is large and cold. Their office is cosy, warm, and has a TV. But that dark, empty place, ancient and full of history, and sharp stone edges for a barefooted girl to stub her toe on, loomed around us. It was creepy and cold. We found ourselves jumping at shadows long before we reached the stairs to the basement. There we all valiantly offered to take the role of Tailgun Charlie and unselfishly give the others the chance to perform any heroics. Eventually, Holly snapped and snatched Ollie's biology textbook to use as a weapon. She followed her war cry down into the dark and turned a light on. The janitor's room contained all the kosh stuff, and as such was unlocked, giving us easy access to the professor's office and all the toilet roll we'd ever need. Because Professor Lovecraft's office is the lowest part of the school and has no windows, we entered into the foreboding dark, fumbling for a switch, and jumped out of our skins as the door slammed behind us, plunging us into pitch black. Eventually, a scrambling hand found a switch and threw it on, and the room's drapery was suddenly lit by the glitter of a purple disco ball. As we all knew, the room was overstuffed with boxes of women's clothing, and we set upon them with larcenous glee. Holly seemed rather keen on the cupboard full of pikes, but I searched the copious confiscated shoes for a pair of Louboutins that I could pick out for Ollie and borrow at a later date. Ollie clutched her retrieved book to her chest and kept watch, repeating over and over in a squeak, "We should go, we should go." Eventually, Holly aimed a spear at her and told her to shut up. That was when we heard a noise from the back of the room. an evil and terrifying croak. A 40-a-day frog, wheezing through a loudhailer. We froze like ice, and the sound came again, rumbling through our shivering bodies. Suddenly, the shadows cast by the rotating ball were spooky, malevolent shapes, leering out of the room's nooks and crannies and alternately blinking Holly, furthest from me, in and out of existence. Nervous glances darted between the three of us. With a roar shattering the wintry chill of the moment, a hairy beast lunged out from behind the professor's desk, the monstrous entity intent on collapsing the basement with its furious bellowing. Until, that is, an antique shield powered by Holly crashed down on its head. Then the disco lighting and some drunken mutterings about forgetting the safe word revealed it was none other than the professor himself. Holly leaned over him, looking disappointed. Her concussed teacher had survived the preemptive self-defense. "Is he dead?" Ollie asked. And really, she was carrying the biology textbook, so if anyone should know, it was her. "Just really drunk," Holly replied, poking the professor with his own dagger. "You haven't seen me drunk," Lovecraft insisted, despite the evidence of our eyes. "All clothed," he added, sadly confirming the evidence of our eyes. He snuggled up with a Windows 95 manual and went back to sleep. We were pondering our next move when, somewhere deep in the university, we heard the dean's voice bellow. "What's going on down there?" Holly's reply, "Leg it," was also an effective demonstration of the Doppler principle as she hurtled by me and milliseconds later up the stairs. Her bravery was an example to us all, and, snagging the reddest box from Lovecraft's shoe collection, I dragged Ollie along in her wake. We were just a mass of clumping boots and sloshing feet in the dark when we hurtled by the startled dean. We regrouped in our room in Field Marshal Haig building to divvy up the loot, with Holly searching for an inhaler in her collection that had enough kick to stop her wheezing. Sadly, the box I claimed as spoils did not contain Louboutin goodness or even shoes at all. Instead, it contained what looked like an antique gramophone, but was, according to the instructions, an Acme battery-operated, fart-powered prophecy machine. We didn't know it then, but that simple device was going to cause us a lot of trouble.
Thanks for watching. If you want to buy a copy of the full book, then check out the link in the description, which will take you to the Kickstarter page. You have 3 days left because that gives me enough time to get all the books out there to you in time for Christmas. Thanks for watching. Bye.